What's up, everyone? I'm going to talk about the Season 10 opener of Chikara, Chaos in the Sea of Lost Souls. Their first show of the year for 2011, so let's get into it real quick. First up, we had a trios match, and it was the Osirian Portal with their brand new member, I think it was Hirikon, versus Team F.I.S.T of, we had Chuck Taylor, Incoherence, and Johnny Gargano. And, yeah, this was a solid opener. I actually was hoping it was going to be a little spottier than it was, because honestly I don't mind kind of a spot fest of a match, one or two of them throughout a show, and I think like an opener is a perfect place for a spot fest, but it was still a pretty good match. I enjoyed it pretty much, and the third person, the new third member of the Osirian Portal, works very well with them, and yeah, it was a pretty good match. The opening started with a dance-off. It first started off with, I think it was Amasis. He challenged Incoherence, and Incoherence did like a little jig. Then Amasis, did his thing, and then Bryce Rumsberg, the referee, actually got into it too. And believe it or not, his little dance, I guess if you want to call it, was the most entertaining part of that before the match actually started. Yeah, this was some good stuff, and it's a very solid opener. Next up, we had a women's match. It was return from Australia, Madison Eagles taking on Daizee Haze. And this wasn't too bad of a match. Biggest problem I had with the match was the crowd was really dead throughout this match. It seems to be a problem with a lot of women's matches lately. Just crowds are just dead throughout. And but yeah, for what it was a pretty solid match, and I enjoyed it overall. Next match, we had Throwbacks taking on the Roughnecks, and I gotta say I like Grizzly Redwood and Bohdi Lee as a tag team. I think they work surprisingly well together, and Grizzly Redwood, he's actually a decent heel, and he works good with Bohdi, kind of like the big man, small man dynamic. And yeah, they had a very solid match against Throwbacks, and this was originally stemming from the Season 9 finale, where Bohdi Lee took Dasher Hatfield's bat and used it on them. And in the beginning of this match, they were coming out with toothpicks, and apparently the toothpicks were splinters from the bat. So, yeah, I guess that was pretty cool. This match actually, they did a good job of conveying, that there was some animosity towards these teams. And, yeah, very solid match. And match number 4, we had the Soultouchaz taking on the team of Lince, Dorado, Tursas, and Sara Del Rey. And this was another match that had a little bit of heat going into it. And because the BDK took out their 2 managers, so obviously Soultouchaz were here for revenge. And this was actually a match where the faces were controlling the bulk of this match. And this was very good. So next up we got Obariyon and Kodama taking on Hollow Wicked and Frightman. This was a solid match, but I gotta admit that every time I see Obariyon and Kodama wrestle, I'm just not too interested. I'm not very entertained by those two at all. I mean, they got a cool look, but I think as far as what they do in the ring, it just leaves something to be desired, and it just kind of brings down the match. Whoever they wrestle with. But I thought all the parts with Hollow Wicked and Frightmare, when they had the upper hand, was pretty good. This ended up having Kazarni's son Bohdi come out and interfere in the match, and Ultramantis Black came out to kind of try to neutralize the situation. But eventually that actually led into their match. It wasn't even so much as a match. It was more like a segment, which was leading to, at the end of this match, Ultramantis Black challenging Kazarni and Obariyon Kodama in a 6-way match, along with him and Hollow Wicked and Frightmare. And I don't know what the actual match listings for Chikara's next show is, but I couldn't tell if Kazarni actually accepted. I'm assuming he did. He said he always accepts a challenge 60% of the time, 100% of the time. And like I said, I haven't checked the match listings for the next match, so I don't know. But it should be solid. But like I said, I don't really care for Obariyon and Kodama, and Sinn Bohdi is kind of whatever. So, but it, it could be a solid stuff. So we'll see. And next up, we had Eddie Kingston doing a backstage promo, and before his match with El Generico. And I gotta say, and I'm not probably not the only one that's ever said this, but I think Eddie Kingston does a great promo. He really makes you believe what he's saying, and he was basically talking about, excuse me, basically talking about, even though a lot of people were telling him, as he says, that he had a great 2010, got to wrestle some of his idols in wrestling, including Tommy Dreamer. He got to wrestle Bryan Danielson. He was basically saying he wasn't happy because he never got his hands on Claudio. And so he was basically, in the end, directing it towards El Generico, basically telling him he doesn't respect him. And when they're wrestling their match, he's basically going to just see Claudio, whether he hits him or El Generico hits him. He's just going to picture Claudio. So basically just looking to come down and beat El Generico. Didn't respect him and just going to take out his frustrations with not being able to get Claudio on the ring out on him. And this was actually, I would probably call this the show of the night. This was actually a pretty good match. Just shy of great. Basically, it was mostly playing towards Eddie Kingston's style of wrestling, kind of slow-paced, a little methodical and hard-hitting. But they paced the match very well. And the more moves and strikes that they used, the harder they got. So but they did a good job of basically conveying that they were warring with each other. And but in the match, Eddie Kingston had a lot of respect for Generico, and as usual, Generico always does a good job anyways. He can, wrestle that slower, stiff type of match that Eddie Kingston's used to doing, as well as doing high flying and pretty much any other style. Pretty much anyone that you can put Generico in the ring with, he can at least have a pretty good match with, too amazing. So yeah, I really enjoyed this. I thought this was probably the best match. And next up we had the main event, and it was Mike Quackenbush, Jigsaw, and Fire Ant and Soldier Ant taking on Claudio Aries, Tim Donst, and Valerius. Actually, I was kind of disappointed in this match. It was really, really slow. It wasn't kind of what I was hoping for, I guess. I was hoping for like a bigger match. It didn't quite feel like it was a main event match. It felt like it could have been a little lower on the card, like, in between matches to kind of slow things down. The crowd was really, really dead throughout most of this match, so that kind of helped kill my enjoyment a little bit. Also, because that, a dead crowd always kind of can kill my enjoyment in a match or even a show. But, overall, it was a solid match. There was some good things. It just wasn't what I was hoping for in a main event match. Kind of a wild way to end the first show of the year, but overall, it was a pretty solid show, and I'll give it a C minus, C plus, actually. Very fun show overall. Definitely worth the $15 that they were charging for the show. So, yeah, I'm Markman81, and until next time, I'm out. Later.